Imagine out there is an object worth more than the entire global economy combined. Worth more than every dollar, every gold bar, every stock exchange on Earth. And right now, a NASA spacecraft is racing toward it. Not to claim that fortune, but to answer a question far stranger than what it's worth. Here's what most people assume when they hear asteroid worth more than Earth. A treasure hunt, a space mining mission, humanity finally cashing in on the solar system. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that assumption is almost completely wrong, and why the real reason NASA is flying toward this object is stranger and arguably more valuable than any number could ever be. In 2017, planetary scientist Lindy Elkins Tanton, based at Arizona State University, ran the numbers on an asteroid called 16 Psyche. She calculated what its iron and nickel would fetch if sold at Earth market prices. The result? Roughly $10,000 quadrillion. 10 followed by 18 zeros. A number so large it doesn't just beat the world economy, it makes the world economy look like pocket change. Psyche itself is 226 kilometers wide. That's roughly the distance from London to Paris, except it's a single solid object floating in the dark, made almost entirely of metal. Most asteroids are rock or ice or a rubble pile of both. But Psyche is different. It gleams with iron and nickel the way Earth's molten core does, buried 3,000 kilometers beneath our feet, a place no drill, no submarine, no human has ever reached. Scientists think Psyche might be that core, Earth's core's twin, just floating in plain sight instead of hidden under a planet. A trillionaire maker, hanging in space, apparently within reach. But here's the first crack in that story. The person who calculated the number doesn't believe the number. Elkins Tanton has said that her own $10 quintillion figure is fictional. Not because the math is wrong, the iron and nickel really are up there in those quantities. The number breaks for two much simpler reasons. First, there is no technology, anywhere on Earth, capable of mining an asteroid 370 million kilometers away and hauling the material home. We can barely land on asteroids gently, let alone excavate and transport them. And second, even if you could bring it back, you'd be flooding Earth's entire iron and nickel supply in one shot. Markets don't work on total mass, they work on scarcity. Dump quintillions of dollars of metal into global supply overnight, and the price doesn't stay high. It collapses toward zero. The very act of cashing in would destroy the value you were cashing in on. That should have ended the story. The richest object in the solar system, and it's worth almost nothing the moment you touch it. But that's not the strangest part. There is more. If Psyche isn't a treasure chest, what is it? This is where the science gets genuinely spooky. Most asteroids in the belt between Mars and Jupiter are leftover rubble, the scraps that never became a planet. Psyche looks like the opposite. Its density and its metallic surface signature point to something else entirely. Not scraps, but a survivor. The leading theory is that early in the solar system's violent childhood, Psyche was part of something bigger, a protoplanet, in the process of forming layers the way Earth did, heavy metal sinking to the center, lighter rock floating above it as crust and mantle. Then came collisions, each impact stripping away another layer of rock, like a planet being peeled like an onion, until nothing was left but the core. If that theory holds, Psyche isn't an asteroid at all in the normal sense. It's a corpse, the exposed, naked heart of a planet that never got the chance to finish forming, floating in the dark, still shaped like what killed it. That should have settled the question of what Psyche is, but it didn't. Because a dead planet's heart is a theory, not a fact, and the only way to test it is to go there, which is exactly what NASA did. The Psyche spacecraft launched on October 13, 2023. It's not headed for a landing. It's not carrying mining equipment or a sample return capsule. It's carrying cameras, spectrometers, and, most importantly, a magnetometer, an instrument built to detect magnetic fields. Here's why that matters. A planet with a still active molten core generates a living magnetic field, the way Earth does right now, the shield that protects us from solar radiation. But even after a core goes cold and dead, it can leave behind a magnetic fingerprint, frozen into the metal, like a fossil, permanent evidence that a real magnetic field once existed. If Psyche's magnetometer detects that fossilized signature, it would be near proof that Psyche truly was a planetary core, confirmation of the dead planet theory, written into the metal itself. To get there, the spacecraft is covering 3.6 billion kilometers over 6 years, using solar electric propulsion. In May 2026, it swung past Mars, using the planet's gravity as a slingshot, gaining speed for free. It's now on a straight run toward the asteroid belt. The arrival will be in August 2029. That should have been the calm chapter, a spacecraft doing its job, on schedule, on trajectory. But then came a correction. New density measurements of Psyche have thrown the tidiest version of this story into doubt. If Psyche really were pure exposed planetary core, it should be dense, heavy, compact, packed the way solid metal is packed. But the numbers coming back suggest it's lighter than that, noticeably lighter than solid iron and nickel should be. Which opens an uncomfortable possibility. Maybe Psyche isn't a clean metal heart at all. Maybe it's porous, riddled with gaps, a jumbled mix of metal and rock rather than one solid mass. Not a perfectly preserved planetary core, but something messier. Something that doesn't fit either of the simple stories humans had already told themselves about it. So, the object that was supposed to be worth more than Earth might not even be what scientists thought it was. Not treasure, maybe not even a clean fossil core, just uncertain. And that uncertainty is precisely why the spacecraft is still flying toward it. But that is not everything. This is the real value of Psyche, not the $10 quintillion, not the metal, the uncertainty itself, because Earth's own core is permanently out of reach, buried under 3,000 kilometers of rock, crushed under pressures that would flatten steel. No probe has ever touched it. No probe ever will. Psyche might be the only place in the entire solar system where that forbidden interior, planet core material, sits exposed, waiting, 300 million kilometers away instead of 3,000 kilometers down. And in 2029, for the first time, something built by human hands is going to look directly into it.